10 jobs which slowly kill you. Some jobs can have many higher remuneration opportunities, but it may come at cost of your own health. Here are 10 worst jobs for your health. Number 10. Dentists. This can be one of the highest paying, but worst jobs in the world, as it poses a huge health threat to the dentists. The dental material, lubricating oil, solvents and X-ray processing chemicals may cause skin infection. Similarly, sharp objects used during the process can result in viral infections such as hepatitis B. Number 9. Critical care nurses. These nurses work in hospitals' most sensitive ward, ICU and CCU, where patients with some of the most critical conditions are treated. Being employed in one of the most sensitive areas of the hospital, they work in high-risk conditions. They are regularly exposed to some of the most dangerous contaminants as well as risky level of radiation in the intensive care unit. They can get infected by very same diseases that they are treating their patients for. Number 8. Lift repairmen. The job of elevator installers and repairmen is among the worst jobs. It is also significantly risky for anyone and everyone involved. Installing an elevator in a building is not as easy task as one may assume. It includes tackling wires and handling high voltage current. People employed in this profession might suffer from electric shocks, cuts, and burns, and the risk of losing life during installation or repair of the elevator is always lingering. It is also worth mentioning here that they work in poor working conditions which also negatively impact their health. Number 7. Derick Operators. The Derick operator usually works on drilling rigs for the oil and gas industry. An oil derrick manages the drilling rigs, first digging an initial hole for an oil or gas well, and then forcing the drill pipe deep into the earth. Their basic work is to handle machines and regulate pumps to maintain a continuous circulation of mud through a hole in it. What makes this among the worst jobs for health is the exposure to burns, cuts, bites, and stings. It also makes workers vulnerable to hazardous working conditions. Number 6. Podiatrists. Podiatrists are physicians and surgeons who diagnose and treat different conditions affecting your foot, ankle and other parts of your leg. Several complaints related to the occupation have been reported regarding exposure of nail dust. Studies have shown that large amounts of dust become airborne during the human nail drilling procedure and are present in the air up to 10 hours after a clinical session. This increases the risk of respiratory tract infection for the practitioner. Dust may deposit into the respiratory system, nose, and conjunctiva. Because podiatrists expose themselves to dust, they are also vulnerable to conjunctivitis, itching, and even tearing asthma attack. Number 5. Veterinarians. Veterinarians are someone who are loved by both humans and animals alike. Their job primarily deals with treatment of injured or sick pets and wild animals. Vets expose themselves to unknown threats and contaminants that transfer to them through the sick or injured animals that they treat. They are also exposed to infections and flu from the animals. In a study, it was also found that there is mental stress and suicide risk arising from mental or physical fatigue, which becomes increasingly important in the last years. Number 4. People working at water treatment plant. The job of workers working at wastewater management plant is to maintain and regulate a single machine or a series of devices to treat water or wastewater. The position makes the person vulnerable to contaminants and many waterborne diseases such as typhoid, cholera as well as dengue, which happens due to the accumulation of water in one place. They are also often exposed to minor cuts, burns, stings, and bites. Number 3. Miners. Although Bitcoin miners regularly put themselves to risk of mental stress, the real-world miners go through the worst. Mining has always been one of the worst jobs for your health, but it is also one of the most unsafe jobs. The probability of miners dying is ever present, resulting from explosions, cave-ins, and equipment accident. Miners are exposed to burns, cuts, bites as well as some infections due to exposure to unhealthy and hazardous work conditions. In addition to this, miners face many health dangers like working in hazardous gases, dust, fumes and loud noises which have serious long-term effect. Number 2. Flight attendants. We are pretty sure you never expected them to see you here. Believe it or not, flight attendant can be one of the unhealthy jobs you may ever get into. Providing help to many unknown people, holding their baggage etc. can lead to exposure to contaminants and infections of many unknown kinds. It is also one of the worst health impacting jobs when it comes to the timings, since there are no fixed timings of this job which can deteriorate one's mental health. Number 1. Radiologists. Radiologists perform X-ray on people and discover broken bones and unusual diseases, but while doing so they put their own life and health at risk. They expose themselves to radiation levels which are much more than what a single patient goes through during an X-ray. They are also highly exposed to diseases and infections because of nature of their work. Cancer is one of the most common diseases contracted by radiologists all over the world. Comment below to let us know. And don't forget to subscribe us to receive regular dose of amazement. Have a fine day ahead.